Thank you, Robin, for being here. The floor is yours.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Today, first of all, I introduce myself. My name is Robin Dimond. I'm the CEO and founder of Fifth Cor. We are a marketing and innovation company. A lot of people ask, what is the innovation part? So it's really emerging tech, anything from augmented reality to virtual reality, to incorporating AI into your website, machine learning, and digital twins. So we are working heavily in that. Over the past years, marketing and technology kind of came together for the first time instead of fighting each other. And that's where emerging technology comes in. So really creating an experience for brands or for business owners to communicate outside of the traditional social media. I'm very honored to be here. I can't say thank you enough. And we're really just going to talk today about establishing customer pillars. And I think as the world has been happening in, COVID, and then to all of us just learning how to do business, and then G4, and then ChatGPT, and all of these things coming out, learning who your customer is has become easier and harder at the same time. You become a hamster wheel. So what we've done internally is come up with who our customer pillars are. And we say create 4, because you want to build like a house, it needs like all 4 to stand. You'll be able to find out which one actually holds your business a little bit better. But we're going to walk through what are the customer pillars and how we came up with ours. This is very interactive, so please ask questions. We're going to be able to send this deck out to everybody as well too. So you can take this back to your team and start working on this if you don't have these processes. So we came up with a table of contents, and these are the things we're going to be talking about, which are steps to establishing your customer pillars. At first, we didn't know who our customers were, and it was kind of letting us know who they are. Knowing who we are is important. Understanding your customer is another one, and then setting your goals. So whether it's to communicate, or I love earlier that a couple of you got to share, but knowing your business or being able to have someone else to relate to is so important nowadays. And so knowing what your goals are, and then how do you reach your goals, and then establishing those pillars. So moving on, what we're really going to do today is this workshop is going to really identify key areas and value propositions. This has been important for us, and we actually work with a lot of startups. We are part of the Alan Levan Center at NSU in South Florida. It's 54,000 square feet of innovation center, and we get to see all the startups that come through South Florida, which has been incredible. And we've been able to walk through them with who are your customers? How do we know what your marketing efforts are going to be spent on? Because we're all trying to run a business. We're not trying just to keep on that sales cycle. So really figuring this out. And then what's differential about you? So there are a lot of marketing companies out there. I'm fully aware. There's a lot of innovation companies out there. Fully aware. What sets us apart? Why are we different? And how do we own that? And then how do we create those strong relationships that our clients and customers want to stay forever? And that's really what we want to do. If they're a right fit, we want to keep working. And that means changing who we are. So that's what we're going to be doing today. Really coming up with those importance of client pillars. And I wish I had my whiteboard to show. I do, kind of to the side over here. But what are those long-term relationships? What are those elements for success? So what is a good client? I think when we first started, everyone was a good client. And we've realized pretty quickly that we're not for everybody. So instead of wifing up is what I say, you don't have to wife up with us. Let's make sure that what's a good relationship, and it works both ways. Maybe you already have the capabilities, but maybe we need to foster that like loyalty. And that means it goes both ways. I need to know your business. So we say creating your customer profile is like dating. You got to get to know who you want to be in a relationship with, and also who actually works the best for you. There's some industries that we don't touch and we pass over to our partners. So really seeing who that is, getting our competitive advantage, and then really getting that feedback. So we constantly ask our clients and our partners, what can we do better? What is different? How has your market changed? And some of them will share things, if they're a CPG company, they'll talk about getting on a shelf, and maybe it's Amazon's eating their money and they don't want us to do any more marketing for Amazon. Because it's not, maybe it's hiring and training. And so we realize that if we record every session, we can help them with their training internally. Maybe it's figuring out that they thought their customer was, we have a client who thought their customer was a millennial and realized pretty quickly it was the Gen X that was making the decisions for the Gen Z and the boomers. And so they were like, oh, wait, we want to back this up. How do we meet Gen X? So we really try to meet them where they're at. So we really help people understand who they are and then what's their competitive analysis. If you have any questions or comments, please drop them in the channel while we're talking. Okay, so moving on, really coming up with establishing these customers. So obviously we've all done this before, but it's been probably a long time since we've done this. So getting to know who you are. And we do this all the time because we're changing and evolving. Who I was at 20 versus who I was at 30 versus who I am at 40 has changed. So it's getting to know who we are. And yes, I just gave away my age apparently. So getting to know who we are, we're keep going. Some of us are celebrating more birthdays. We haven't hit that next decade, but getting to know who we are. So who are we? What are we looking for? Who's our customer base? Maybe it's CPG focused, or maybe it's HR focused to be a solution for them. Really establishing those goals. So what are our goals? Maybe it's growth. Everyone's like, oh, I double, triple my business. Well, doubling or tripling your business also comes with you hiring more people, you coming up with more systems. So it's really knowing what your goals are for scalability. And then knowing your goals that you want to reach. So yeah, CPG, thank you for that question, Deb. It is consumer packaged goods. So in a world that is everyone's used to things coming to their home right now, we're seeing a lot of businesses that were direct to, business to business. They sell a product to a Whole Foods, or they sell a product to an Amazon. All of a sudden realize that they have this new revenue source of going directly to their consumer. They can control the relationship. They're able to talk about it more. So with that, they've been able to start building out new revenue sources. But with those new revenue sources, they don't realize maybe those new customers are bringing more questions now because it's a person interacting with it. So we've been able to help them scale. So consumer packaged goods, anything from skincare to shampoo to food brands, any of that is consumer packaged goods. So really knowing what your goals are and then establishing those pillars, and those pillars are constantly changing. We tell you to have at least 4. I say have 5 because what you think one pillar is might be in the middle and it might move to the heaviest side of your business. So make sure you know what those pillars are. Moving on. Step 1 is know who you are. And I think as business owners, we really need to do this. And again, that's changing. So coming up with a creative brief. I'm going to ask the people on this call if they have a creative brief about their own business. I'm going to look by the head shaking. Yes or no? Okay, no. So creative.
Is it like a brand? Is it like brand guidelines, but more like how you sound, the words you use, things like that? Mission, vision, values.
It is, and it's really knowing who your voice is. For us in our creative brief, we even get down to what images look like us because we're putting everything out on marketing. What embodies who we are, how we present ourselves. The topics that we talk about. So it's really getting to know who we are, and then our values. So our values could be, we want to work with somebody who's innovative. You can't bring augmented reality to somebody who's like, oh, we don't do innovation. We're this and this and this. Well, okay, that might not work. So really knowing who our values are. So we create a creative brief. Your creative brief can be as detailed as you want it to be. Who do you want to target? Who are you? It can be a Pinterest board. Some of our team has actually created a Pinterest board. So we know these are the images we're going to use on our website. These are the type of images that we're going to. This is the voice and tone. Let's talk about ChatGPT. If you don't know the tone you want, leverage AI, ask it questions, tell it what you're looking for. ChatGPT is an open AI source for anybody. Put in there things about you. I like dark red wine, coffee. I like to be, consumer facing. I want to be correct in how I speak. I want to sound more masculine when I speak. You can actually put that into ChatGPT and it will help you come up with a creative brief. So make sure you have one of those if you don't. Your creative brief should be able to describe this. It has your brand colors. It should have your key themes and messaging. It should have your customer persona. It should have words to describe your company. And these are simple one word. So for us, bold, innovative. Think of the words that Deb might be carrying, listening. She has a different business. And so you want to make sure you know what the words are to describe your own company. And
Do
then
you have an example of this that we can see? I'd love an example if you could share one at some point That would be really helpful.
Sure, I'm gonna rely on my team to
Yep.
pull, Lexi or Kier, if you don't mind, could you drop in the chat, like our inspo board or our bit board that we've created? And
Yeah,
again,
for
we
sure.
can send
We'll make sure
any of
that
this over. Thanks so much. So they're going to drop it in the channel for you all to look at. And this is what we use as like an inspo board or a mood board to create about us. So it's words that describe us. We use pictures that describe us, brands that we aspire to sound like. So we would like to sound like Sephora. And the reason why is because they're the most innovative omni-channel. You can go to one in Miami and they know exactly what you bought in New York. And that's how we want our customer experience to be, is that we know everything about Deb when she becomes a customer. And so we've come up with systems to help us with that. And then brands that we want to look like. So a brand that you want to look like doesn't have to be in the same industry. It could be something that's edgy, or it can be something that's classic and timeless. If Tiffany's is the brand you want to look like because it's timeless, Audrey Hepburn is the person you want to look like and sound like. Great, she's classic. Maybe she's not crude. For some of our clients, it's aggressive. They want to, they're, veterans, so they want to come off as more aggressive. There's different ways of finding words that describe you. And then understanding what your value propositions are. So for us, for value propositions, what do we do that stands out that's different? For us, we do a different way of getting out of contracts. We don't keep you in a year-long contract because we feel like it should be mutually agreeable upon all of us. And we work 30 days out. So find out what your value propositions are. And they'll share that on the side, and we'll pull it up for you all to see as soon as that comes. Any questions so far as we're talking about these? All right, so for us, here's an example. To go back to the team, for us, internal value propositions. So we work with a purpose, and these are ours. We work with a purpose, we have integrity, and we're committed to excellence. So everything we do we say, okay, do we do that with a purpose? What was the purpose of that? Maybe it's to take a new class or get our team certified in something. What was the purpose? Well, they gain new skill sets. Great. For our clients, it's why do we approach them? What was the purpose? We do everything with integrity, which is, okay, if it's a product that we really wouldn't support or we wouldn't use, maybe it's not even FDA tested, we're not going to probably represent them. So know where you stand on that. And then a commitment to excellence. Every piece of content that we put out, we want to make sure it's excellence. We work hand in hand with our teams. We don't go away from them. We work really closely listening to our clients. So that's been something super important to us. We're energetic, resilient, and flexible. So for us, every day, Meta makes a new announcement, Google makes a new announcement, Twitter, cheese and crackers, they've made a lot of new announcements. Pinterest just partnered with Amazon. So every day we feel, I think the correct term is getting squishied. And so with all these updates, we have to be very flexible. We have to be resilient, and we have to be transparent to our clients. Yes, your Instagram's down. Yes, Twitter's down because you lost all your bots. Elon came in and cleaned it up. So this is how we're going to approach it. So we always tell them the issue. We show them the article, and then we come up with a way to move forward, being resilient. We take risk to inspire continuous learning and hunger in our own team. So sometimes we'll make statements that I think there's a line in a movie from Top Gun that says, you're writing checks your body can't cash. My parents say that to me all the time. They're like, hey, Maverick, stop saying things before you can't cash them. I'm like, oh yeah, okay, great. So we're constantly learning and being hungry and innovative. And that's really important as a business owner because you lose that energy if you don't. We also surround ourselves with other fantastic women and men, but fantastic women. We have a good community that listens to what we're talking about and encourages us to come with innovation. They're transparent in what they do. We really work to support our team. So with us, nobody starts on their own. Everyone comes in with another person. So you're hired in twos. That means you always have a battle buddy that goes through the process. We also go on calls too. You can't think of everything. I can't think of everything. And there's going to be some days that you're not creative. So getting on, having another brain to pick while you're doing that is important for us, for our internal value. And then we really create like exclusivity and like listening and encouraging and valuing everybody. So great. We are not going to work for two hotels that are across from each other. That doesn't do anything. We're competing against ourselves and there's no value for it. So we really have figured out who we can help I can't push this jewelry company if this one is their competition. It's not right. And so we've really gone in there and made really strategic decisions to do that.
How often do you revisit and kind of like reassess your value propositions, or do you just kind of keep adding as one comes to your head?
That's a great question. We follow this book, Measure What Matters. Every quarter, if you haven't read this book, I have extra copies, but we can send them to you. We do Measure What Matters. And so these are every quarter. So each quarter we break up and we come up with key performance indicators, KPIs. We measure what they did. So for the first quarter, we were very involved in events. What was events doing? And we document everything. Okay, that maybe should not be our goal for the next quarter. Maybe we want to grow in revenue. Okay, what happened? Well, we weren't able to hire fast enough. So we always do quarterly goals and yearly goals. We do not do 3-year goals. Like, if anything life has taught us in the past few years is that I can't think ahead in 3 years. So quarter is great. You can restructure, redevelop, and we're checking them every 30 days. Any other questions about that? We're open to share anything that we do personally. Please feel free to ask as many questions. I have no problem sharing about my business because I've had to learn the hard way, unfortunately. All right, moving on. So client-focused value propositions, and Kira dropped in the chat an idea of what our inspo is. And we actually ask each team member, so we don't create this. We actually have the team members on their day number 2, they create, after they've heard everything we've talked about, they create their own inspo board. We want to see if they did align, if they are using the same words, if we're on the same page, or if we need to teach them something. So Deb, this is an example. You can make it as fleshed out as you want it to be. All right, so client-focused value propositions for us, we simplify the merchandising, planning, and inventory. That's something super simple. So that you have to decide what you want to do for your clients. So it could be maybe bringing them solutions, creating strategic ways of them repeating processes. Maybe they're not great at repeating processes. Maybe they're not ready for you. Maybe they need a partner. And so we do a lot of partnership referrals. They might come in and they're like, we're ready. And we're like, you don't have merchandise for us to sell. So we could not double your business. So we really meet them where they're at. We look at providing experience, talent, and tools for them. So not everybody is the same. Some might need more creative, or somebody might also need more paid media experience, or they might need copywriting. We have a solar company we work with. It is very technical when writing. So we find industry experts in that, and then we put them on a team together so that they can pull from each other. The other thing is we are a women-owned business. It's not really a thing that's totally different about it, but we're able to help solutions. A lot of women will actually share. So we do give a lot of our feedback to other women-owned businesses. It's really important to help them succeed and grow. Gone are the days, I like to call my New York days, where we used to step on each other to get ahead. It is really how you can help pull someone else up. If you don't have a contract and I do, then share mine, copy, paste it. Good, use it. If you can learn something, then we want to share, and we create that community of engagement with our clients. All right, going on. Understanding your customers. This is something that's super important for us. So we did this. You can do whatever. We love whiteboarding. If you watch our reels on Instagram, we love whiteboarding. Don't ever give us markers and a whiteboard. But we really put a pie graph up. What are we learning? Okay, what did we gain? Happy face. What were the pains that we learned from that? What is our customers, what can we help them with in the jobs? So we do customer jobs. What are the things that they love to do? Put them on social. Things they have to do. Things that we love to do versus things we have to do really help our business grow. Typical pains they might feel doing their job. So this is something that, okay, it could be someone who's more technical that doesn't understand PR and creative writing. So how do we help solution for them? We have a lot of customers that come to us and they think they know, they're like, this is where we're struggling. And by the time we break it down, we're like, actually, you're pretty good at that. This is the only problem that you're missing on your website. And they're like, what? How did you figure that out? I'm like, it's super easy. You don't actually need to hire us. We think you're great. And that keeps that relationship. Okay, great. We'll come back to you when we figure that solution out. So really knowing who we are, making sure we're getting the things that they desire, making sure that we have the things that they're required to do. So some people need to be very compliant. They need to be HIPAA compliant. Maybe they haven't got their ADA, American Disabilities Act. Thank you for making me not say abbreviations anymore. ADA compliance, which is American Disabilities Act. Maybe their site's not ready to start marketing because we don't want to send a ton of traffic to it if they're going to get pinged and get sued for something. So we try to give them all the information that they need. And then we make sure that we understand what the universal situation is. Okay, if we doubled their business, that's all they could handle because they would have to move into a shipping or a warehouse system. So hearing their goals, writing them all down, really honing in on what their target demographic is, what are their keys to success, and how do we help? And you can make this any way you do. We put in a pie chart and it kind of shifts as we figure out things. We actually do user persona. So these are the people who come to your website. I have to say this. Some older demographics coming to your website need to be able to find things. If they don't find it within 2 minutes, they're going to leave your site. And so making things that are easy, dropping down. The best way to do this is find friends, give them a glass of wine, and have them go to your website and ask them to find something. Just doing that, we'll do a user request. I do it with my parents all the time. Go on this website and they're like, well, I don't know what I'm looking for. I'm like, try to figure it out and time them. And if they can't find the answers, then you're not making it easy for them. If they go to your social media and they're like, I still don't know what you do, then you didn't make your message very clear. And so we really work on those personas and those themes to help our clients go forward. And that's something that every business owner should do. We look at our customer profile. What's the demographic in their job title? Somebody who's hiring us is probably not a CEO. It's probably a CMO or a Chief Innovation Officer. So Chief Marketing Officer or Chief Innovation Officer. It's great if we can talk to the CEO, but most likely they're not the decision maker. Just like I don't make decisions about hiring. I have a team who does that, and that's important that we empower them. So know who they are and know the demographic. What are their goals? If their goal is unrealistic, maybe their goal is to call you at 2 o'clock in the morning so you can hear their problems. Probably not realistic for people. So you want to make sure you know their goals and if they align to your goals. What are their pain points? Maybe it's something super simple and it's really just getting a sales process down. We actually just picked up a customer and I was like, you're not ready for marketing. You just need a sales process. As soon as we were able to set that up, which only took us a week, he was like, seriously? And I'm like, yep. Now his team's ready to go out and do, and he can do what he loves. So we look at what the business owner really needs. Are there any common objectives? What are their fears? If their fear is, hey, we're going to be replaced in a year, okay, let's talk about that and let's start putting out content that shows that you shouldn't have that fear. With all of these AI tools, most people are very fearful, and we're trying to show them, nope, you can use it this way and it's going to enhance your job. And we're seeing a switch in the mindset of people. Some people are like, G4 is coming. I don't know. I have to redo my whole site. I'm like, no. I don't know who told you that. It's just a really quick, easy button. And it'll probably take you only 3 days to do. And they're like, wait, what? And I'm like, and look, I typed it into ChatGPT and it told you how to do it. So we're able to leverage those and really work with their fears. Maybe it's merchandising. When COVID was happening, people weren't getting their products over here. So they had to cut back in different areas. Maybe it's tech support. We hear that constantly. I don't know how to set this up. Okay, great. How can we do it that makes it easier for you? You should never have that fear to do it. I used to have that fear. I'm like, oh my gosh, what happens if my website crashes? It's fine now. We're fine. You've hired people or you have a good resource to do those things. All right, moving on to the next one. Setting your goals. So really setting your goals, and this is important. And I think you asked earlier, we set quarterly goals. And that helps us know. So for January, February, and March, we were like, this is what we're going to do. And we look at partnerships, revenue, and marketing goals. So that's the 3 goals we look at. What are our partners? Who are we aligning with? So our partners could be a tech partner or it could be another referral business. We look at our marketing goals. What are we trying to do? We're trying to start a podcast. Fantastic. Great. This is how we're going to do a podcast. Or we look at our revenue goals. Maybe it's to 2x. Maybe it's to actually just reinvest that money for the first quarter. And so we try to figure out what our goals are or what our clients' goals are. And then we come up with creating SMART goals. I'm going to start writing all of these things out now. Now I realize that we use a lot of acronyms. Thank you. So we look at quarter goals, year goals, and then 3-year goals. 3-year goals is like maybe you're going to sell your company, or maybe you want a sustainable income for you, but you don't want to be in the business every day. So you're going to look for a successor. So we come up with those goals. I'm not saying you need to know what your revenue is going to be in 3 years. I'm not saying you need to know what the world is going to be like in 3 years. Just focus on quarter and year, and then where you would want to be in 3 years. And then find a purpose in prioritizing those goals. What's the number one? If you're a business owner, you're probably running on a hamster wheel, and your goal might be to sleep every night for 4 hours. Okay, great. What can we take off your plate that will help you be able to get that sleep? For some of them, it is a do or die. Their house is on the line, and it's a revenue goal. Okay, great. How do we increase that without spending everything? How are we going to reinvest that money so that they can get it back? For some, we'll hear, oh, we have no systems in place. And you're like, okay, so if something, you got hit by the lottery bus tomorrow, how would your team be successful? And everyone's like, oh, they wouldn't. The business would fail. Well, that's really not fair to all your employees. So we try to meet each customer where they're at. For us, if something happens to me, the business will keep going. My customers will be happy, my employers will be happy, and our partners will be, because I have a success plan. And that was really important to me in this day and age, and figuring out with own family health issues that it was better to make sure I had a strategy and I wasn't on that hamster wheel. So you have to decide what's good for your clients and what your goals are, and then go into it that way. I'm going to pause right there. Any questions or feedback before we go on?
I was just going to say, I am familiar at least with SMART goals, but the CPG was not. So thank you for clarifying that. It is something that I'm trying to be super aware of, is there are so many acronyms. And I really seriously struggled with that when I initially began in business, because, you know, KPIs, I would be trying to read a marketing article and I would have to Google. I would literally sit there and Google for 10 minutes just to try to understand what the hell the article was telling me, because I'm like, I have no idea what any of this means. So
I love that you said that, because my old CEO would absolutely say, like, Robin, stop. Not everyone knows what, you know, an API is. And you're like, oh, well, it's just like connecting to, oh, you're right. Okay. I didn't know those too. Just like when I walk into our neurosurgeon, I'm talking to him and he starts talking about brain surgery. I'm like, I got nothing. And they're just using abbreviations. So I appreciate that. I think it's also knowing that we're talking on the same level too, about like, okay, what are key KPIs? Key performance indicators. So what's our key performance? What's the indicators that we're doing this business? How are we testing it? And I didn't really understand that when I first did. I thought it was a goal. And I was like, goal, check. That's my KPI. And I realized, okay, how are we measuring success? For here, we benchmark our goals, improve online ordering process for our customers. For one of our clients, that's something that they wanted to do. No one can purchase when they check out. So what we were noticing is we were sending a ton of traffic to their site, and they're like, yeah, but we're just not getting orders. And I was like, well, this is dumb. Let me go see if I can order something. We couldn't get through the process. So marketing wasn't their issue. It was really getting online orders set up successfully. So find out what your clients' needs are. Maybe it's, you know, figuring out what they feel like they're not heard. Okay, how do we do documentation so that they feel like everything's are? For us, we in our own company do love languages. For every client, we know their love language. Why? Because if words of affirmation are important, hey, thanks so much. We really appreciate you sending over. Okay, great. If that's not their love and it's quality time and they need to get on a call and walk through something with us, we know that that's how we need to meet them. Same with our employees. So we actually 5 love languages, Fifth and Cor. We adopted love languages, and we found it was a better way to connect to people. We also believe in sharing it. So if I hear Kira's love language is this, I'm going to put it in her document so that when Lexi comes, she can look at it and say, oh, Kira's love language is this. This is how she deals with her clients. This is how she communicates with them. For this one, this was a goal. So it's to improve online process. What our SMART goal was to increase the percentage of completed online orders without any errors by 20% within 6 months by implementing. That's a realistic goal. If someone says to you, we're going to do 100%, you can't be 100% in anything in life. So we really have them be, okay, what would 20% do? And they were like, well, that's $1 million in revenue a month. Well, okay, now we're talking about a whole different goal. Let's do this bite size. And we now know that it goes onto the top of the priority list. So for me, I look at this. What's our top priority? Maybe it's not revenue for the first month. Maybe it's really getting marketing and reinvesting it. Maybe it's new partners, because those partners bring in new revenue. So we really look at what those goals are. All right, moving on. How will you reach your goals? So these are really where we look at, and we can believe in omni-channel marketing. We used to have a picture on here of a woman laying over her chair, like stressed out. And I was like, that's me. These are all the areas that we want you to look at. So BigCommerce, which is like Shopify, Wix, BigCommerce. BigCommerce defines omni-channel marketing as a strategy that aims to create a seamless experience for all your touch points and for all your channels. So we want people to go to your Instagram and then be able to go to your website. We want them to go from your Pinterest and go to your website. We want them to go from your podcast and go to your website. Or maybe we want them to go from your podcast to your YouTube channel so they can learn more. We really want to create that omni-channel experience. Again, I got to give Sephora credit for this. I was in New York and I was like, oh my gosh, I forgot my makeup bag on a trip. And I was like, what am I supposed to do? So I went to the Sephora and they were like, oh, these are all the products you've ordered in the last month. I'm like, what the heck? And they knew, and they had it shipped to my hotel. Well, that's a seamless experience that I want to make sure that we're dividing for all of our clients. So that's our goal. Components you should look at are your website. How user-friendly is your website? If it's not, please fix this. How's your organic social media going? Are you on all your social channels? Have you claimed all of them? And just so you know, everyone here knows there are 6 channels that to rank higher on SEO. That is YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, Twitter, LinkedIn. Those are the ones you must claim. Whether you use them or not, claim them, connect them to your website. All of a sudden, you're going to start beating out the big dogs who are spending money. When all of that's done, then do paid media. Don't do paid ads. For all of you business owners who have done paid ads and you're like, my budget just got eaten alive. We know. We absolutely know. We don't even focus on paid ads until it's something that's already performing well. So go for the organic structure. Meta doesn't care about you. Google does not care about you. They will spend your money and they will not care. And as a business owner, $500 is a lot to a lot of us. $100 can be a lot, especially when you're, bootstrapping this. So make sure you have an organic strategy first and then layer in paid. Blogging is something that's really amazing. Don't go to ChatGPT and just write up something and put it on it. I will tell you, AI is changing. Google made this announcement that they will be AI focused, but they're going to be looking for different ones. Use ChatGPT, Jasper, Brand, all of those. That's Google's version. All of those to create a template, and then you write the blog. Make sure you're consistent. Don't go gangbusters like I'm going to do a blog every day. I don't know if you have time to do that, but don't. Do 2 a month and stay on that easy schedule. You can do them all in 1 week and then slowly put them onto your site. Make sure they're topics people want to learn about. Maybe it's Meet Deb. Maybe it's Meet Kira. And it's just a little bit about your story. So maybe those are the top asked questions people want to know. Why are you the best person for me to talk to? Email marketing, we tell people this all the time. You cannot just blast or spam people from your Gmail. Please do not do that. Do not do that from your business one. Make sure you actually have an email service provider. This was something I did not do when I started my business. I was like, oh, I'm good. And they were like, we'd like to see your email. And I was like, I'm sorry, what? Why? To get a loan. And I was like, why? And they're like, well, we want to know how many people are opening it and want to listen to you and where your pipeline is. I was like, give me a few minutes. I didn't have any of those things. And so there's a value in email list. If you walk in and you say to the bank, here's my email list, this is the open rate, and this is how much they're clicking through, they know there's a built-in customer for them in the future. Yeah, I didn't know that was even a thing. Events and experience. So we try personally to go to as many events. I say personally as a company, we try to go to as many events as possible. An event can be defined however you want. We're actually redefining as of yesterday what an event is. So podcast could be an event. You don't actually have to go someplace. It could be a meetup. It could be coffee or cocktails. We do that every time we go into a city. We say coffee or cocktails. If we're in your city, please meet with us. And we let people know. So there's different ways of doing an event. It doesn't have to be thousands of people. It doesn't have to be Shop Talk or NRF or NRA, wherever National Restaurant Association, wherever you want to go. It can be a small local event that will help you. We do giveaways and you're like, what the heck would you be giving away? You're a marketing company. So many things. We can absolutely give away an SEO package. We could give away marketing. We can, for my birthday, I'm going to drop this here just so you don't know, we're giving away a Tiffany's gift. Why? because we believe everyone should invest. And so it's like a little piggy bank from Tiffany's that we're giving away. And it's telling all business owners to reinvest in themselves. So you can come up with creative ways to do giveaways. For some brands, if they're a consumer packaged good brand, influencer marketing. Also, influencers are not the Kardashians. Yes, those people are influencers, but none of us can afford them unless I don't know, and we need to have a conversation. But an influencer could be my mom. She's a fantastic influencer, and she actually talks about getting IV therapy. Well, guess what? All of our neighbors go to the same place to get IV therapy now because my mom is such a huge fan. Her 100 followers on Instagram doesn't matter because she's an influencer in real life. So we really try to find people who influence others in real life. And then PR, going back to that creative brief. Have your creative brief, because if an opportunity comes and it comes really fast, you're going to want to make sure you know who you are and that a reporter can pick you up on those things. So for us, we have a creative brief set up. We have a definition of who we are. You do need to know my mom. She's the most amazing person, and she's actually done working for the day, but she actually works for us. I pulled her out of retirement to come back. Fantastic person. And that's what I'm talking about, networking people. She's an amazing person. Public relations is super important. So we do, and I'm going to give everyone here free advice. We do HAROs every day. It's called Help a Reporter Out. And every day, 3 times a day, they send out 3 to 4 emails of so many topics for you to talk about. I love your face, Steph. That you know what I'm talking about. And it can be exhausting. So I sit there with my coffee in the morning. I sit with my glass of wine at night, and I go through all of them. And it's okay, great. Is this something that we want to talk about? And it is great PR. I think in the first quarter, we were picked up in 17 different articles. Well, that changes our business. One of them was picked up by Shopify. We got a customer who found us on Shopify's website because of our article. And I was like, you know what? This was so worth that coffee time. So we set up a way of helping our business get exposure. You don't always have to pay for these things. And that's what we're here for, there's tips and tricks to get free PR. Do it if you can. There's another one. And what we'll do is, if my team could drop it in the channel so that everyone can see this, so they can click on it and they can sign up for it immediately, that would help them. So Haro does one, and then there's another one that we look at as well. Any questions about omni-channel marketing? Does everyone have a channel? Are they on all of these channels? Are they struggling through these?
I have a question.
Sure.
For those that are watching the recording or on here who have right, I'm a solopreneur. Deb has a couple people on her team, but what would you prioritize? Would you go in this order that you have it listed? If you're like, listen, I don't have, a whole team, I can't do all of them. What would you prioritize?
I think we should send this over prioritize. I think that's a great question. So website first, this is mostly in it. Organic, social. I would drop paid all the way to the bottom. It's just not the same, and it's not a fair playing ground when you have Nike out there going against you. Like, how are we going to compete in the same market? I would move up blogging, because that's going to be important, and then PR. So PR, they're going to look at your past blogs. So if you can have that content ready, accessible, PR is going to help you with those stories. I would say those. The next one after that would be events. The more we go to events, the more community we do, the more partnerships, we're seeing so much more success. We've actually gotten rid of our sales team because I did start out as I'm still a sole entrepreneur. I just have a great team now. And again, it was that hamster wheel. So we started going to events. The events brought in new clients. Those clients brought in new people that we could hire and bring on. And so it's kind of like that wheel. We actually have a dedicated team to marketing us alone, which is now 7 people, which a year ago it was 1. She's on this call. She's grown a team because of all of her partnership and community and events. So I would say events and community are extremely important. And offer what you can. You don't always have to offer something that's a sales thing. You don't always have to offer advice. Maybe it's coming in and just helping an HR team understand, how to communicate better to their team. Or what are the signs? Maybe it could be 5 signs to know that you feel overwhelmed. I would like, yes, I need to talk about those things. Come up with things that you can offer people, and then knowledge share.
I made a mistake when I started my blog. And so if there's anyone listening, I want to just talk about this so that they can avoid it. I did not understand when I started my blog that it was important to have SEO tags, meta tags, and tags. And so if you're starting a blog, I honestly thought it was just write the article. And so no problem. I can write articles, but I did not understand that there was that next step. And I had to actually go through Google. There was a whole Google thing I had to do in order for them to crawl back through all of the previous things. It was a pain in the butt. Just from, if you're starting a blog, make sure you do that from the front end. And if you haven't, talk to me and I'll help you figure out the Google crap, because it's a pain in the butt. And yeah, but I did it. So
We have some bad news for Deb. Google just came out last week saying that SEO is going away. So all that work that I know, see, that's why I didn't want to tell you that. That was like, I felt bad. And that's where that knowledge sharing is. So we want to be able, we'll drop the article in this channel too for you to see. So it used to be SEO, making sure meta tags, meta descriptions. Now they're looking at visual search and voice search. So how much are you able to do it? Pinterest just logged out. If you don't mind, I'll show you this.
oh my gosh. So for the blogs, oh my gosh. So all of the channels, okay. So
It's
weekly
just an
blog is
update.
still important. So it's still important to do the blog, but now switch it to a vlog instead of a blog, or
It can just be images. It can be things that are used that the AI will be finding easier. I'll show you an example. This is Pinterest, and this is where Google is moving to. So if you go to your Pinterest app, there's like a little, I feel like an influencer right now.
Mhm.
There's a little here where it's a camera. You can pick a camera and you can take a product and take a photo of it. Everyone's ready? It starts searching for that product and now tells me exactly where I can shop that product. So it can do this with anything. So that is visual search that these platforms are moving to.
Oh
The
my
next
God.
is voice search. I know. You're like,
Voice search, you will find hold, because I invested in that very early on. So you can do a voice search for hold and you'll find it.
perfect. And that's exactly where, how do people talk into their phone? Making sure you're on all of those social platforms is really going to be where SEO is moving to. I will have to say AI has really disrupted it. So we're seeing a lot of partners who just focused on SEO before starting to go out of business because of the AI adoption. So it's going to be looking for these. It's going to be looking for content. We'll drop it in the channel in case you did not get that Google update. Don't touch anything right now. Keep all of that. It's just for the future that you don't have to do all of those extra steps.
Hmm. Interesting.
And I think that is where I say we get squishy. So every day there, as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, as a sole entrepreneur, you finally learn one system and you're like, why is this not working anymore? And we all saw this with TikTok. Okay, we're all going to run to TikTok, get TikTok famous. Oh no, now it's not working as much because now it's getting, we don't actually even sell TikTok as a package, just so you know. It's kicked out of all universities. The state of Montana, some state with an M, kicked it out of the entire state. You can't actually access it in all government agencies. Well, if I would have built a TikTok agency, I would be out of business right now, just like SEO. So we keep adapting, we keep being flexible. And as a sole entrepreneur, it's important that you partner with us. So I can say, hey, did you see this? Let's share this on Like-Minded, because it's going to be super important for every business owner to know.
I had an interesting conversation with his name is Caesar, and he owns Collective Brains, and his business is he certifies mentors, and he has a whole cadre of mentors that people can then hire, and it's he's got 4 different pieces. But he and I had a really interesting conversation because we're doing something so very different out in the world. It's very difficult to have people find us, and he actually came from a marketing background, and I said to him, are you having the same problem I am in terms of, having people find you? And he's like, yes. And so I was really interested that you talked about events, because that was super helpful to me, because I really feel like that he was talking about that being those personal connections. And I think it was Kira that was speaking at the beginning. She was saying how important it is, that those relationships, and for us, for Caesar and I, that's where we're finding our marketing to be most successful, is those one-on-one relationships, and that's what's working for us. So really interesting stuff.
And really being a part of incredible networks too. So with like-minded, you can go on and you can be connected to other people who are sharing your pain. And as long as you're transparent about it, We do other ones. So we're really found in like local communities like YP, Young Professionals. We're part of Female Founder Collective. There's like a bunch of different local ones that we really get involved in. I'm part of the local WEC, which is Women's Executive Club. And it's a local branch. And what that does is, one, make me not feel crazy, because when we all meet, they're like, oh, did you hear about this about contractors? Now they have to be full-time employees. And I'm like, what government? What are we doing? And I didn't know that, or someone will be like, hey, did you hear that this new loan system, or do you know how long it takes to become a women-owned certified business now? 9 months. Okay, good, because I thought I was struggling through step 60, but apparently there's 3,000 steps, and I'm not the only one who's doing this. So we like connecting with those. The other one is speaking at different events. We look at different universities to speak at, because it's going to be a pipeline of ways to talk. But events right now, is we're headed to one tonight. We were one yesterday. So we look for every opportunity to connect with others, to grow who we are as a company. But I double down. Let's move that to the top of the list. Like website, have social. Events is next.
I
like
agree.
that.
I have a question for you, Robin, actually, because it just like sparked an interest in like me. And then I feel like, Deb, this would be good for you too. As far as universities go, how do you go about reaching out to people to talk in front of universities?
So we find professors on LinkedIn.
Okay.
And we will find them. So one actually found me for Brigham Young. He's a marketing professor, and he reached out to us because he saw what I was doing on LinkedIn. For our local communities, we actually sit on Broward College. So because of Broward College, it's a community college that feeds into like Florida Atlantic University and Florida International University. So since it feeds into those, there's opportunities. We let them know what we're doing. We go on Handshake. If you haven't been on Handshake and you're looking to hire, it's a great way to find, and there's great opportunities to speak. And then we obviously went back to like our old alma maters and said, hey, we'd love to talk. This is what we struggled with. This is why school is a little bit behind, because the things we were learning in school. And I'll just, again, call out my age in a way. What I learned, I got out into the real world. 9/11 happened, and I was like, the whole world shut down. Also, people moved away from doing print and billboard. Like, let's just be real. And social media, everyone's like, well, did you get a degree in social media? No, Facebook it wasn't even around yet. It wasn't there, let alone all the other ones. And so like, no, I didn't. I've had to adapt in all of those things and talking about marketing programs. And that is why I think this would be great. It's like a female owned business going into a school and talking about that. We look for any of those opportunities. But I'll get you to talk to students if you want to. Let me know.
Well, I was thinking about this too, because I heard an awesome podcast and he leveraged students, but I don't know if I would be able to talk to people and like kind of like promote business, right? If I'm just catered to the women in the room.
There's a lot of universities who have like diversity groups. They have women-owned business, women entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurship is now a degree. I didn't even know that. That was not around. It was like everything was business before. Like there was no business marketing or management or accounting. It was just business. Now there's all these segues and there's entrepreneurship. And honestly, they break them out into like female-owned businesses or med tech if you're going to go into those things. And remember, they all have parents too, just so you know.
Find the sororities.
Yeah, sororities. We have sisters on our team, sorority sisters, not real sisters. And so it's great ways to like keep expanding who you are in a business. And it's also people who are more, no pun intended, more like-minded like you. So
yeah, so maybe like a sorority that's focused on entrepreneurship would be perfect.
Okay. Absolutely. And there's a lot, I mean, especially with like, they're so used to doing Zooms now. That's what it's been. In the channel, Kira dropped a link if you all want to look at this article for upgrading. This isn't super important. You can grab it and go through it. Any other ones? I think we have one about Pinterest and Amazon, and we'll drop that in the channel too. So you can just read those articles and save them. All right, moving on. Lex. All right, so for organic social media, we'll talk a little bit about this. Make sure you're defining who you are, making sure you can post content across all of them. Whatever your cadence is, come up with a calendar. If you're only going to post on Mondays, only post on Mondays. Again, don't go gangbusters posting every single day and then go down to one. People can see it. So it's better for the algorithm. It's better for your mental health to have a content calendar and focus on those. For LinkedIn, I post on Mondays and Wednesdays. Why? People hate their jobs on Monday. Tuesday, they're busy catching up from the Mondays. Wednesday, they're like, you know what? I think I'm looking for advice. Thursdays, they don't really care. And Friday, they absolutely don't care. So for me, I found out I was getting the most return on my investment in my thought leadership on posting on Mondays and Wednesdays. And then we found out pictures will do way better as content. So if I'm at an event and I take a photo on LinkedIn, people are like, oh my gosh, what was this about? It actually performs better. So find out what you're doing and then making sure that it's shoppable if you are able to be shopped. So for us, it's providing a link back to our website. Moving on. Paid media. I hate paid media. Do we do it? Absolutely. Do I wish it was not in this deck? 100,000,000%. If you're running current ads, please be watching what your return on ad spend is. Figure out a bidding strategy. It's very important. Make sure you're not bidding on words like, I'd like to be the top CBD company in the world. Okay, well, calm down. There's other people who have deeper pockets than you. So figure out what is your niche and go for it. Make sure there's a pixel on your site if you're going to run paid ads, not boosted ads, paid ads. So paid ads, you put it on Meta, you put it on LinkedIn, make sure there's a pixel on your site. A lot of people will be like, we've been running $10,000 worth of ads for the past 3 years. And I'm like, you don't have a pixel. They're like, oh, they never collected data from it for like, yeah, brain hurts. So please make sure you have that set up. If you're listening to this, if you don't have a pixel, if you're like, I think my dev team did it, double check. Make sure that pixel is firing on every single page. Make sure it's put onto your blog page. It's so important that you're collecting that data. And Facebook has instructions on how to put that pixel there. Same thing for other platforms. Make sure you're creating an audience. When companies tell me everyone's our audience, no, they're not. You have to know who your audience is. No, everyone is expensive. Figure out who you are and make sure you have the right messaging to go towards them. And then A/B test. So A/B test means splitting it. Subject line could be an A/B test. Say this, giveaway versus raffle, and see which one performs better. Next test. This content, which is a stagnant picture, or this video, which is another one. So go video and keep the copy the same and everything. When you start doing that A/B testing, it really helps you understand where your audience is moving and also what the platforms are dictating. Going on, any questions about that before, about paid media, other than me despising it? Great. Giveaways. So for some of you in your business, giveaways are not going to be the thing. Some of you, it's a great thing. About 2 years ago, you could trick all the platforms to doing a giveaway. Now there's rules and regulations. So make sure you have on yours a determined value incentive and entry rules. You have to clearly say those. Has to say you must be 18 years or older. If it's a regulated product, you have to be 21 years or older. And this is for me giving away Tiffany's box. Has nothing to do about what the product it is. They must be a minimum of 18. Make sure you use creative copy and creatives to promote the giveaway. So we say run a giveaway for 1 week. Start it on Monday, end it on Friday, announce the winner on Sunday. I'm literally telling you how to do this. No one cares about your giveaway on the weekends. When they're sitting at work, that's when they care about it. So they start tagging their friends, they start resharing it, they put it on their stories. That's when they care. So run it for a short time. In today's world, we don't think very long about things. And so I did that giveaway. I'm not going to check back. So you always want to remind them why they should check back. We talked about determining timeline. Make sure you create a disclaimer on your website. Please do not get pinged for this. A disclaimer on your website could say, we are giving this away. It has no dollar amount value. You have to have a disclaimer on your site. It's a hidden piece, and you put that in your social channel for that time of it running. Have a disclaimer. You must have a disclaimer. If you don't know how to do a disclaimer, ChatGPT. Disclaimer. Please write a disclaimer for this giveaway that I'm going to give away, and it will come up with all your descriptions. If you don't like ChatGPT, please use Jasper. If you don't like that, there's 23 other AI platforms that you can use. Please do that. You're not a lawyer. Make sure it's all written up correctly for you. Make sure you update that bio with your disclaimer. Make sure you're measuring performance. What were you doing last month? What are you doing this month? How was the growth? We use Agora Pulse. Agora Pulse actually goes into your social media. It tells you the return on every ad that you're doing. I recommend them. If you haven't done it, it tells you the return of every organic post on your social media. That is Agora Pulse. And we do that to measure where we started from and where we're growing. And sometimes we're like, we have a 2,000% increase in traffic this week. Let's do another giveaway. Or, hey, we did a reel that showed our events. We just did one. It's the best performing one. So we just, okay, every event, we're going to make sure we're videoing all of that. And then make sure you select a winner and send the prize. I don't know why I have to say this, but select a winner. If your family happens to win, please pick a different winner. Buy them something nice, but don't give it to your family. We announce the winner in our stories. So our stories will say, this is the winner. You have 24 hours to collect your winnings. If you don't, it moves to the next person. We put that in our disclaimer. Any questions about giveaways?
I think it's also important to add, because somebody was asking a question on Like Minded actually about giveaways, and she was trying to build her audience, but she had a really, really, really small following, and she was trying to build basically a new Instagram account. And so I think people forget that sometimes you can do giveaways with other people and leverage other people's audiences. So if you're just starting out, then leverage other people's audiences to do a giveaway together. And then you can grow a lot more, because your 3 followers are only going to tag a certain amount of people. And that's even if they see the post, right? So leverage other people's audiences if you're going to do a giveaway, if you're just starting out.
That's perfect advice. It's a giveaway. And there's a way of doing that content creator. Like you can actually share it to a couple people. Do that. We say more than 3 people. It's not that great. Like for some reason that breaks Instagram's rules. But so find 2 other people to partner with and do a giveaway, and have you all share it at the same time. Have you all pick a winner. Also, just think about the cost of doing a giveaway. It's going to be better if we all chipped in and got a gift for someone to win, or we gave multiple gifts, because you're right, we're going to be able to feed across each other's, networks that way.
Mm-hmm.
And you can also send people. So we do it where tag a friend, tag a friend, tag a friend. You can tag as many friends as you want. Every tag is a new entry. And then we also do it so that like you can give us your email. So sign up for an email for an extra additional one. And that means we start capturing people's email addresses. So just think outside the box. It could be follow us on YouTube if you really want to drive them there because you're doing a podcast. Think of different ways to send them there.
I'm going to do a giveaway for my next networking event. Whoever posts on Instagram and tags Like Minded, like as we're on the networking event, that's going to be a giveaway. So like there's so many ways that you can get people to share and post. And obviously in stories, it's so much better because then more people see it, right? The reach is so much better in stories than posts. So that's another idea.
We blame the dating apps for that. People like to do this instead of this now. So stories, you're right, 100%. And they can tag it all the time. They can put hashtags behind the stories. They can put a geolocation behind the stories. I think we should do a giveaway together. I think that'd be great. Maybe
I'd be down.
Okay, perfect. Look, we just like put her on the spot for it. But yeah, I absolutely want to network together and give away something. That's going to be important.
Mm-hmm.
For PR, if you haven't done this, this is really important. So our public relations and communication, make sure you set clear objectives. If your goal is to be in Forbes, so is mine. Be really realistic with yourself. Unless you've done something groundbreaking or you have $75,000 to get placed there, don't have that as your clear objective. Look for, I'm going to do Haros. Great. That's a very clear outline. Understand your audience. Not everyone is your audience. Understand what they're coming for and what is their need. So for me, my audience is people who might be slow to adapt in marketing. If someone's out there like, I don't know, Rihanna is probably not going to hire us because she's doing a great job on her makeup. She doesn't need us to. So understand who your audience is. Maybe it's a startup or somebody who's slow to adapt in technology. That's my audience. So we make things easy and bite-sized. Craft your key message. Know who you are, craft your key message, leverage AI, ask your friends, describe you. That's going to be important. Get input on that. Identify the media channels that you want to be on. Sometimes it is worth doing a wire service. We've done one wire service. We do PR. We've done one wire service for ourselves, and that was a year announcement that we had been around for a year. Only do something that's going to pick up stories that people want to know about. Just because your mom wants to hang it on the fridge does not mean it's actually that important, and a journalist will pick it up. So make sure it's something that's newsworthy, that grabs your attention. Maybe it's you've given back to somebody. Maybe you've brought somebody on and then they've moved into a higher role for it. Those are newsworthy things that you want to identify. Build relationships with media. I think you're just going to hear us talk about building relationships with everybody. Relationships are key. We're craving them. We've been out of the loop for so long. Everybody needs somebody, because you can't do this alone. So same thing with journalists. Be that solution for them. And those HAROs, help a reporter out, go to those. They're looking for stories. They're exhausted. They don't want to come up with that. Make it as easy as possible for them. Make sure you develop compelling content. So when you're writing, why would you pick this up and why would you read it? Read it back to yourself like that. Sometimes shorter is better. Nobody wants to hear you ramble on, so write something short. Engage with the media outreach. So reshare it. Those journalists would love to be on your website. Reshare that. Make sure you have a news dedication onto your blog or onto your website. That's really important about the stories you've been picked up in. Monitor and manage your reputation. So look at what your reputation is. For some of you who are consumer packaged goods, maybe some of you are a service, maybe some of you have competition who's tried to ruin your reputation. I know that's like a thing, which is ridiculous. Go on there, make sure you clean it up. Make sure you're looking at Google My Business and making notes of it. Maybe you've had a rogue employee that you need to take down their information. Please go and do that. Make sure you're reporting it if it's made up or false. Leverage social media. So if you do get picked up in a story, tell everybody about it. This is very hard, especially for women-owned businesses. I have no idea, but if you, and this is going to be mean, but if I ask my husband what he did today, he's going to be like, I did the dishes, I did this. And I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot. I didn't name all of those things. I only named the big things. So sometimes we're not our biggest cheerleader. Write it down if you are hyping yourself up. So make sure you're sharing it on social. Hey, look, we got this announcement. This is great. This was groundbreaking. We're excited. We do a really bad job hyping ourselves up. So like, make sure you're sharing it out there, talking about it over and over again. It seems counterintuitive for what we've been told. Oh, I don't want to brag, but you do, because people won't know. So you have to tell people what's actually happening. And then make sure you're evaluating and adapting. So as new things come out there, maybe you want to change your whole business strategy. Talk about it, put it out there in the PR, and start moving towards those things. That's a little bit about PR. All right, what's proactive outreach? This is on social. So I will tell you that I like-minded every day. Why? I like it. I heart it. She knows. She watches her Instagram and it will blow up. She'll know when I come through because I'm like, oh my gosh, I didn't say anything. Yes. Why can't I do that? Absolutely go and engage with all of your fellow people out there, all your fellow businesses. Look at trending hashtags if you're going to a location. So if you're looking for an event for young professionals, type in hashtag young professionals and then look at that and see what people are talking about. If you know you're going to Indianapolis, you're like, what event is happening in Indianapolis? Make sure you're looking at that. Look at industry hashtags, mental health, HR, talking, all of those could be some of yours. For me, it might be marketing. It could be AR. It could be augmented reality. It could be new tech, women in tech, women in innovation. I'll look at women entrepreneurs. Look at those hashtags and start connecting with those people. And it is, you cannot set it and forget it. This is not a baking show. Do not set it in there and forget it. You have to go and engage with your groups every day. Look at geolocations. If you want to be involved in things that are happening in Miami, look at Miami, see what's going on, and then make it on your calendar. For me, I am an old school Google Calendar, but I'm also, and I'll show you this, giant calendar. And the reason I do a giant calendar is so it can sit on the board and it shows how many events can we go to. I take each of these, rip it off, and save it into a filing cabinet every single month because I'm not going to go back and look at it digitally. Now I know, okay, hey, we're not trending to what we were doing last year. I literally said this to Lexi yesterday. Lexi, what were the events that we did in June? Because last year we were hopping around. She's like, that was July. I'm like, okay, great. So we're on schedule and target. Look at these. I do it in 2 different locations. Yes, I'm a digital company, but yet paper is great for us. So look at those. Make sure you're looking at what your competitors are doing. Don't hate on your competitors. Just look what they're doing. That's going to be super important. Business partners, I want to talk about this. This has changed our business model. And I said we got rid of a sales team. If you are a solo entrepreneur and this is everything rides on you, look at partnerships. Really see who you can partner with to get the message out about who you are. Look at how you can do it. What does a partnership truly look like? Maybe it means sending baby clothes to somebody. Maybe it means cheering them on, or maybe it's saying, hey, look, I'm not your solution, but this person is. There's certain people. So business partners, look for them. And I don't mean in your business. You can successfully grow a business by partnering with maybe Shopify. Maybe that's really where you need to be, and Shopify is going to send you business. Look for that. And then create a social script. You can save your social scripts in your social channels, and then it's a quick response. Tell me about your business. How do I become on your podcast? Great. Have that saved so that you can answer all of these, especially if you're a sole entrepreneur. That's going to be super hard. Questions about proactive outreach?
This is so good. This is a really good reminder, because I feel like social always just like gets forgotten for me sometimes because there's other things, but it's so important. So thanks for the reminder.
I haven't ever tried leveraging the hashtags like you're suggesting here, and I'm trying to understand exactly. So you're typing in a specific hashtag and then finding the people that use that hashtag to then follow and dive down into that. Is that the strategy?
Yes, except the follow part. So I will type in a hashtag of something. So if the follow part comes, and here's the reason why. So I'll do a hashtag on here, and I'm going to show you real quick. Female entrepreneur. It's like the first one that comes up. There's 7.3 million posts. So most likely I'm going to find another female entrepreneur, and I'll start engaging with theirs. So what I do, this is my personal secret, you can steal it. I go and like 5 of their posts and I comment on 2. If they respond, which does get their attention because you do it right back to back, comment on 2. If they respond and they start liking things back, then I follow them. If I get nothing, most likely it's a bot or they don't ever check it. And so I go on to the next one. I do this and my whole team they make fun of me. It's called proactive time. I just do it in the bathroom, to be really real. You're sitting there anyways, you're scrolling on your phone. I might as well just do it. I'm just gonna, let's put everything out there, ladies. Let's be very honest and transparent right now. That is my only alone time. So I'm like, and I start finding, it's a great way. I DM myself too. So if I can't remember it, I created a group and I DM myself. I also DM my team. Hey, we need to connect with this other woman. Well, look what she's doing. She's focused on mental health. Didn't we say we have a business owner who is talking about how they're burnt out? Well, if they're burnt out, they're probably going to sell their business and they're going to get rid of us. Let's connect them to Deb. That's going to be super important. So we keep a file of that. That's what we do with the hashtags.
Okay. That's
now,
really helpful. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Now, LinkedIn, if you're on LinkedIn, on the side of your LinkedIn is going to be the hashtags that are trending for that day. Innovation, chat. Then you can pick the topics and make sure you use those hashtags. You can also find other people on LinkedIn. Now that's more business mindset. So I recommend looking at their trending hashtags for the day and going after content there. Totally different than Instagram.
We've been just asking the AI for recommended hashtags for a post and going that route. That sounds like maybe that's not the best strategy for posts.
It's not, because remember, it's a learning model. So it only learns from other people who have put it in. So artificial intelligence is not true intelligence. And so it's only learning from it. So that's great, but it's giving you old data. It's not giving you what the future is. So you're getting those hashtags that were popular maybe 2 weeks ago. You're not getting that content in that's popular and trending right now. So look at the platforms, look at what they're posting, and especially LinkedIn, because it's providing it to you on the side.
Thanks. Really good.
Absolutely. For Pinterest, it is what you used 2 years ago will all of a sudden go gangbusters, and you're like, what the, how? It'll be a post you posted 2 weeks ago or 2 years ago, and it will go. So there's no trending on hashtags for there. You can use an AI program for that. Instagram and LinkedIn, you have to use your own, what they're telling you to use. And it really happens of what's being covered in the news for LinkedIn. So if you see something on the news, whatever channels you watch, NBC, CNN, Fox, you'll hear them talk about a topic. LinkedIn most likely will have those same hashtags. Now, the game is totally changed when you go to Twitter. And remember, Twitter and Tesla merged together. Everyone knows that, making sure. Tesla was not about a car. Everyone knows that. Everyone's like, wait, no, I drove. Tesla was a data. It was capturing all that data. Now think about it was capturing how long people were listening to music, how much distance they were driving every day. It put it at where are they driving in those locations. They moved all of that data over to Twitter. Remember also there's AI in there. So you add all of that. Twitter is a place that I recommend every business owner get on there. Because Elon is doing some crazy, crazy things. Whether you believe in what he does or not, I'm not here to debate that. I'm here to tell you that get on Twitter. It's like the Pinterest of 2 years ago, and it will really help your business. Oh, and use only 2 hashtags on that. That's what our Twitter rep told us. No more than 2 hashtags. So for Instagram, it's 10 to 20. For LinkedIn, it's 4 to 5. And then for Twitter, it's 2. And I'm sure as soon as she sets this out and it goes live or goes out, it will change again and we'll update you. So please let us know. We'll totally reach out and tell you.
I've heard Twitter is also a really good place to connect with writers and journalists. So if you're looking to get featured on like a specific publication, finding them, connecting with them, commenting, liking everything on Twitter, that's where they hang out most. So that's what I heard.
Kira just dropped in. If you haven't seen, there's 2 more articles. So there's the Google one and then the Pinterest new partnership with Amazon. Please check that out, especially if you're selling a product good on there. It's something for you to know. So go onto that and look it up. And then they're staying on top of what's relevant on the Pinterest. So Pinterest trends, you can check out that article. Again, we didn't put these articles out there. These are coming from the platform. So please trust them. It's not our version of what they're saying. It's what they're telling us to say. So I'm sure it will adapt, but there's different ways of signing up for these articles to come to you. All right, moving on. Establishing your pillars. So for us, this is what we did: quality, innovation, accessibility, authenticity, collaboration, sustainable, and community. This is for you to fill out. What are your clients' pillars, or what are your pillars? What means something to them, and how are you merging together? Again, it's a relationship. Everything in life is a relationship. So figure out what they are and what synergies you have. Lex, I'll let you move on to the next slide. Oh, contact us. We're done. So contact us if you need anything. We've tried to drop these articles. We absolutely have no problem sharing this in our group and making sure everyone knows. If there's any other questions I can answer now about anything, it could be about innovation. We'd love to talk to you about it and take that time.
I was curious about Twitter. We had kind of moved away from it when the whole Elon thing erupted. Would you recommend the posts that we put on Twitter be more the B2C model or the B2B, or do you feel like there's space for both of them there?
There is space for both. If you have a service, there's a great way of getting connected for events and all of those. If you have a product, you can, it's a fantastic, Shopify has a great plugin for Twitter that you can pull, you become a verified merchant on Twitter and you can pull your product feed through it. So I'm going to answer this for everybody in general. Get on Twitter. I understand I was very worried about Twitter. I know it's another platform. I know it's tiring. You're in that hamster wheel running, but Twitter is a great place to find locations, events, journalists. It's a great place to get your thought leadership out there. You can reshare other people's on days you're tired. Maybe it's Monday and Wednesday you do a post, and Tuesday and Thursday you share something you saw and just retweet it, giving them credit. But yes, head to Twitter for the AI alone and the data. Data is everything. Data makes you better business decisions, and so really helpful. I'd lean away from TikTok if you have limited resources right now. Get off TikTok. It's not really doing anything. Be on LinkedIn. Hate Facebook. Hate it. Hate Facebook, but you have to kind of be in it. Sorry. Sorry, I'm not sorry about that. But Facebook's one of those platforms that it just eats your time and you have to do it. And yes, if you have 3,000 followers and you get 3 likes, congratulations, you and 48 of our other customers, same thing. Not a great platform, but you have to be on it.
Eric Lofholm, who's a sales professional, recommends using Facebook because of the Messenger feature and being able to prospect through Messenger. That's how he's using it and leveraging it. So I don't know, but yeah.
The Messenger is good. They're limiting it now. And so where we used to be able to like DM, I used to be able to DM a ton of people and now it's marked as spam. So it's just figuring out a different way. I think the Facebook groups are making a resurgence. And so that's really where they're focused on. And that's going to be super important for businesses.
He
All right.
waited until the end of the
We
the
made it through
workshop.
it,
Thank God.
baby. This is awesome. Well, I appreciate you taking the time. We're going to send this over so that you can have a copy of it. All the links are on the side of it if you can grab it. I think this chat